In a warm and loving mansion, every child wakes up filled with energy. It's a home full of love, and all of the children are orphans. Even though the children at the orphanage aren't related by blood, they're as close as real brothers and sisters. Under the loving care and companionship of their caretaker named Isabel, who they call Mom, 38 brothers and sisters live together carefree and happy, but there's something strange that adds a hint of mystery to their peaceful life. On the left side of their necks, they all have an identification number made up of 5 Arabic numerals. No one really talks about these numbers, and the children don't really know what they mean. They also need to study and take exams here. Emma, Norman, and Ray are the top 3 students at the orphanage. They're all 11 years old, and the oldest in the orphanage. Norman's super smart, and Ray's no slouch either. Emma's not as bright as those two, but she's great at sports and learning. During a game of tag, Emma and the others are near the fence deep in the forest. They remember Mom often telling them that the fence deep in the forest is extremely dangerous and must never be approached. But they never really understood what the so-called danger is. Here, every orphan is adopted before the age of 12, but not one person has ever sent a letter back to tell them how they are doing. This makes them very puzzled, but they never look into it too deeply. They then start to imagine what they will do once they leave this place. One day, a 6-year-old girl named Connie gets adopted. Everyone's sad to see her go. After she leaves with Mom, Emma finds Connie's favorite doll left behind. Ray thinks they can catch up to Connie and Mom, so Emma and Norman take the doll and rush outside. Outside, everything feels weird and scary quiet. Then they find something horrifying. Connie's dead. She has a flower stuck to her. Her face when she dies is full of despair. Just then, they hear strange voices and hide under the truck. They see Mom talking to terrifying monsters. It turns out their beloved home is actually a human farm, and they are raised to be food for monsters. Mom turns out to be serving the monsters. One of the monsters smells something strange. It quickly finds Connie's toy rabbit under the truck, but Emma and Norman have already slipped away. What they saw just now completely shatters their beliefs. Their mom, who is like a real mother to them, turns out to be someone who helps the monsters guard the farm. And their adoption is nothing but becoming a meal for these monsters. Norman thinks that if it's just the 2 of them plus Ray, they can surely escape. But kind Emma wants to save all the children. To her, they are brothers and sisters, and she doesn't want to watch her family be sent to their deaths. Norman knows that this is almost an impossible and naive idea, but to comfort Emma, he still forces himself to tell her they have hope. Ray has been listening nearby all along. Mom also starts to think, wondering who has discovered the secret. The next day, Mom still looks kind and friendly, but seeing Mom like this makes Emma feel even more afraid. Thankfully, Norman is there to remind her, telling her to stay calm and keep smiling. They both know that because Connie's toy was found, Mom already knows that someone went to the gate, but she doesn't know exactly who it was. They have to play dumb. Norman feels that there's a pattern to the children being adopted or shipped out. Since Mom only announces the perfect scores, they don't know the other kids' grades, but they deduce that those with lower scores are more likely to be shipped out at 6 years old. The reason the 3 of them are still alive at 11 is that they've scored perfectly on their exams. It's highly likely that the monsters think the more developed the brain, the tastier it is. So, the 3 of them are considered a rare, premium product among the goods. According to previous shipping schedules, the soonest anyone could be shipped out is in 2 months. They have that time to plan their escape, so they quickly start their investigation. Norman sketches a plan on the ground to decide their escape route. They abandon the idea of escaping through the main gate guarded by monsters and choose the forest instead. Gathering their courage, they venture past the fence that Mom warned them was very dangerous. They walk a distance and discover a towering wall at the forest's edge. Emma's scouting reveals that the top of the wall is flat and wide. They only need a rope to get over it. With only Mom and no monsters watching, their confidence in escaping grows. Then, a child gets lost in the forest, and Mom just looks at her pocket watch and confidently finds the child, bringing her back. Norman sees this as a huge threat. He believes Mom's watch is a tracker, and the children must have tracking devices on them. Mom's action sends a message that escaping is futile, adding complications to their plan. Later, Mom has a one-on-one interrogation with Emma and Ray. She asks them if they went beyond the gate. They deny it, saying they would never break Mom's rules. As they discuss telling Ray the truth, Ray appears. He had noticed something off about them since that night. They tell Ray the truth, and he calmly accepts it, beginning to think about escape methods and who to take. But Emma and Ray start to argue. Emma insists on taking everyone, while Ray says it's an impossible task. Impulsive actions could lead to everyone's death. Norman admires Emma's gentle and unyielding spirit and supports her plan. Ray, unable to abandon his friends, agrees to help them with whatever comes next. Isabella, who the kids call Mom, asks her boss to send an assistant sister, Krone, to help watch the kids. Krone is thankful for the chance that Mom has given her. She is the youngest and best caregiver, but there's still a lot she needs to learn. Isabella, however, isn't interested in that. She wants Krone to get to know the children quickly because the secret of the orphanage has been leaked. Hearing this, Krone wants to report to her superiors right away, but Isabella stops her. She says everything is under her control and Krone just needs to keep an eye on the children. Meanwhile, a new baby comes to the farm. Emma, Norman, and Ray are starting to figure out that there might be more than one farm like this. There might even be a place that trains Mom. They're also trying to find the tracking devices they believe are hidden on them. They think hard and finally realize they might find clues on the new baby. Emma carefully looks at the baby and finds a hurt spot behind the ear. That's where the tracking device must be. Isabella talks to the farm's headquarters in a secret room. The person in charge of Moms is called Grandma. Grandma has some news for Isabella. This year, the other farms aren't doing well at all, and they're all counting on Isabella's farm. Isabella reassures Grandma, telling her that everything is going well on her farm and she can send the products whenever needed. Now that Emma, Norman, and Ray know where the tracking device is, they need to figure out how to destroy it. Ray thinks that these devices are probably simple and can only be activated with a receiver, but there's a fear that there might be an alarm device inside. If they destroy them too soon, it might affect the entire plan. So, after much discussion, they decide that the safest way is to destroy the tracking devices on the day of their big action. They know many of the kids might be too young to understand or too old to believe them, so they decide to disguise the escape as a simple game of tag. In the following days, the children, who don't know about the real plan, begin to receive some subtle teaching from the three older ones. Emma takes them through physical training every day to improve their reflexes. Ray guides them on how to think logically and how to hide their tracks. Norman teaches them how to see through other people's disguises. One day, Krone wants to join the game of tag, and this turns out to be a great opportunity to test the regular training they'd been doing. Krone's very skilled at playing and quickly catches most of the children. The game gets intense, and right before it ends, she catches Emma. Only Norman and Ray manage to escape her grasp and become the winners of the game. The game of tag has become more than just a game for them. It's a practice for their escape, and they're learning just how challenging it might be. After observing for some time, Emma, Norman, and Ray make a disturbing discovery. Mama seems to find out about many things without even lifting a finger. They become more convinced that there's a traitor among the children. They decide that they need to have two more mature children, Dong and Gilda, to assist in their plans. Ray is a little opposed, worrying what if Dong and Gilda are the traitors. Norman assures him that he has a way to figure out who's the traitor. He asks Ray how many days it will take to make a device to destroy the location tracker. With the answer being 10 days, Norman decides they'll begin to escape in 10 days. At night, Emma finds Dong and Gilda. She tells them the children here will all be sold to bad guys, hoping they can assist in the escape plan. They hide the fact that Connie and some other children are long dead because they don't want to make Dong and Gilda too sad. Dong thinks they are joking, but when Norman and Ray confirm it, Dong's worldview crumbles. Quietly, Gilda believes all of this because Emma loves them more than anyone and would never lie. The 3-person team grows into a 5-person team. To scale the high wall, they need rope. During this time, Norman and Emma are collecting tablecloths to make ropes. Norman, to figure out the real traitor, tells Dong, Gilda, and Ray different rope hiding places. When the rope under his bed goes missing, he realizes Ray is the traitor. Ray admits it and openly confesses that he has long been Isabella's spy and has known the truth about the orphanage. Norman figures out that Ray deliberately hid Connie's doll, letting Emma discover the truth and plan this escape. Ray became Isabella's spy to collect Isabella's information and control the situation. He's been researching how to destroy the location device. Ray actually wants to help them escape. The next morning, they arrive in the forest. Emma wants to know if he found the traitor. Ray boldly admits his identity as Isabella's spy. With Norman's explanation, Emma understands the truth. He reveals his original plan is to guide Emma and Norman to discover Connie's death so they can know the truth about the orphanage. Then, they can plot their great escape. But they left Connie's doll out and Isabella found it. So he's got to play nice with Isabella, acting like he's trying to help her figure out who went out the gate. while at the same time he's got to keep helping Emma and Norman with their escape plan. Being a double agent is tiring work. Emma comforts Ray for all the bad things he did over the years to prepare for escape, all against his heart. They soon make a big discovery. Every night at 8 o'clock, Isabella disappears. Since Isabella always goes into her study before disappearing, Emma guesses there must be a secret room in there. Ray thinks it's probably a communication room with the headquarters. Hearing this, the impulsive Don wants to check it out himself, but Norman and Ray disagree, thinking it's not the right time. Don ignores their warning and sneaks into Isabella's room with Gilda. Through a crack in the bookshelf, they find the hidden door but discover it's locked. Not giving up, Don pretends to run into Isabella by accident and steals the key to the hidden door. Just as Don and Gilda are about to open the hidden door, Emma, Norman, and Ray are gathering more information about the outside world to prepare for their escape. Emma finds many books with the same owl symbol on the cover, all written by someone named William. Hidden in these books are secret Morse code messages. They decipher clues about escaping, suspicion, danger, truth, monsters, and the farm. They guess that the author of the books might know the real truth about the orphanage, and that there might be a human society outside. They believe that William deliberately left these information in the book for people in the orphanage to discover. Don and Gilda enter the hidden room and find Connie's stuffed bunny. The room is filled with toys from all the adopted children. Frightened, Don backs away and accidentally opens another hidden door, revealing a communicator with headquarters. Afterwards, Don and Gilda share what they've seen with Emma and the others at the restaurant. They feel that Emma is hiding something, so Emma is forced to reveal the harsh truth to them. All the children will be sold to monsters to be eaten, and the previous children have already died. The cruel reality shatters Don and Gilda's worldviews, leaving them in a state of shock and disbelief. They also tell Don and Gilda that Ray is a double agent. Don can't take so much information and he punches both Norman and Ray. Don isn't really mad at them. He's mad at himself for being weak, and he's upset that his friends felt like they had to keep secrets from him. Because everyone has been honest with each other, there is now more trust among them. In their everyday meetings, Isabella tells Ray that the next shipment is in 2 months, in January. Ray, who is about to turn 12, knows that children are shipped out before they reach that age. So, he realizes that he'll be the next one. Ray tells her some fake news. He says that Norman is preparing to get rid of her and is gathering all sorts of strange ingredients. Ray does this to distract Isabella, so she won't check her pocket watch or pay attention to where everyone else is. That way, the other kids can sneak past the fences, go to the wall, and investigate about the escape path. These children have never been outside the orphanage, so they don't know what the world is like. Are there lots of monsters or people? They get found by Sister Krone in the forest. She tells them she overheard their secret conversation at the restaurant and knows they want to escape. She offers to help them get away because she wants to take Isabella's place. Then, she shows them a number on her neck, just like theirs. She grew up on the farm. Sister Krone explains that smart girls can live until they're 12 if they aren't shipped out. On that day, they can choose to die or train to become mom. If they are trained to be mom, they get a chip inside their chest, and if they try to leave the farm, they'll be zapped to death. They can never, ever leave. If mom dies in any other way, the chip reports to headquarters. Emma and the others are fortunate they didn't choose to kill mom, or else the headquarters would know something was wrong. Sister Krone invites the children to her room that night. She says she'll tell them everything she knows. They make a temporary agreement with Krone. Norman is smart and sees right through Sister Krone's scheming. He explains that she's only pretending to cooperate with them. She's actually trying to find evidence that they want to run away so she can report it to her higher-ups. This way, she can prove that Isabella, the woman in charge, isn't doing a good job. If she doesn't find the proof, her bosses won't believe her. Norman thinks that as long as they don't let Krone find any evidence that they want to escape, she has to keep helping them and giving them information. They can actually use Krone to their advantage. That evening, Norman and Emma visit Krone's room to get some information. From Krone, they see the pocket watch that can confirm their location. It has a screen like a GPS system. Krone explains to them that the location device can only confirm where they are, but it can't tell who they are. Krone also shares that she's never been outside to the world and doesn't know much about it, but she does know that humans exist. She tells them that the pocket watch's ability to locate them is why there aren't any strict guards around the farm, and there aren't even any patrol staff. Through the conversation, Norman and Emma try to keep their faces neutral, but Krone is clever and guesses that they might have already made something to destroy the location device. Ray receives a reward from Isabella for sharing some information last time. The reward is an old camera. He pretends that he likes photography, but the truth is he wants to use the camera's parts to make a tool to break the tracking device. After taking a picture of Emma and Norman, he quickly takes the camera apart. Meanwhile, Krone searches the rooms for evidence. In Ray's room, she finds a note. We don't get to read what it says, but it's a proof of the children's rebellion. I guess that it's probably a sketch of something designed to break the tracking device. Now she can report Isabella and become the new mom herself. But then, Isabella shows up at Krone's door and hands her a letter from headquarters. When Krone opens the letter, it says that she's been appointed as the mom of the 4th farm. Krone is shocked and scared. She realizes what Isabella's plan is. Isabella wants to get rid of her. Before she leaves, Krone hides a special pen in a drawer. When she reaches the farm's gate, a figure known as Grandma, who manages all the moms, is waiting for her. Krone shares all the information she knows with Grandma. She tells her about the 5 children who want to escape and shows her the note she found in Ray's room. But Grandma just shrugs it off. To her, it's all under control. The children can't possibly escape, and she has no intention of getting rid of Isabella. Years ago, Isabella was raised by Grandma as a high-quality product. Now, Isabella has managed to raise 3 high-quality products herself. She has become an essential part of Grandma's team. But for Krone, who's become a thorn in Isabella's side, things are about to take a dark turn. Grandma plans to silence her for good. As the gate drops, a monster comes up behind Krone, ready to devour her. Both Grandma and Isabella have decided to end her life. Facing death, Krone's life flashes before her eyes. Since the age of 12, she's been in a world filled with competitors. She had to fight against other children to become a mom, to avoid being eaten by monsters. In a world where you can't let your guard down for even a second, what did it all mean to Krone? Only she knew. Facing the monster's attack, she fought desperately, screaming out her hope that the children would escape, live, and shatter this wretched world. And with those defiant last words, Krone met her end. The next morning, Emma and Norman continue their exploration by the wall. Ray's job is to distract Isabella, preventing her from checking the pocket watch or surveillance monitors. If anything goes wrong, Ray can signal a warning to Don and Gilda through the window. Don and Gilda are responsible for notifying Emma to stop the plan if Ray can't distract Mom. But because Krone has previously told Grandma about the 5 children's plans, Isabella knows everything, including Ray's double agent status. She tells Ray that she doesn't need Krone anymore, and she's gotten rid of her. Ray, having secretly betrayed her, is no longer needed. She ends her partnership with Ray, locks him in Krone's room, and heads towards the wall with the monitor. Don and Gilda see Isabella leaving, but Ray is missing. Sensing something is wrong, they rescue Ray but miss the chance to tell Emma and Norman to stop the plan. Mom calmly finds Emma and Norman by the wall, removes her kind mask, and tells them the outside world is dangerous and filled with hunger and cold. She questions why they don't want to live happily here, but Emma wants her own happiness, not a fake one. Quick glances are exchanged between Emma and Norman. Emma distracts Mom while Norman grabs their escape tools. Suddenly, a heart-wrenching scream from Emma reaches Norman. Mom has broken Emma's leg to stop Norman. She takes away their rope, telling them that Norman will be shipped out the next day. Things look bleak. Norman pretends to be strong and encourages Emma that she must escape successfully. Ray and Emma insist that Norman must escape tomorrow at noon. Norman worries that if he escapes, Ray will be shipped off in his place, so he decides to stay. Emma has an idea and thinks that if they injure Ray or make him catch a cold, Ray won't be able to be shipped off in place of Norman. Reluctantly, Norman agrees to escape tomorrow. When Norman asks how Ray found out about the truth of this place, Ray says he remembers his time as a baby. Unlike most people, he clearly remembers seeing monsters. He saw tracking devices being implanted into every child's ears. He knows that outside their gate is not the outside world, but the headquarters, so they cannot escape through the front door, only over the wall. Later, Norman goes back to his room and opens a drawer. He finds the pen that Krone left behind. Then, the screen goes black. The next day, Norman runs towards the wall. He uses the backup rope made by Gilda. Norman successfully climbs over the wall. He sees the outside world beyond the orphanage for the first time. At sunset, just when Emma and the others think that Norman has escaped, he unexpectedly appears in their sight. It turns out Norman never planned to escape from the beginning. He worries that if he escapes, Emma, Ray, and the other children might face unknown dangers. He also tells them that behind the high wall, there is actually a cliff. He analyzes that the complex of farms forms a hexagon. Outside their farm's gate is the headquarters where there's a bridge across the cliff. Only from the bridge can they reach the outside world. Before leaving the orphanage, Norman hugs them. He thanks Ray and Emma for their company. After speaking, Norman goes back to his room and packs his bags to leave. At the farewell, Emma tries to help him escape, but Norman pushes her away. On his way to the door, Norman asks Isabella if she is happy. Mother hesitates for a moment, but then tells Norman that she is happy to have met a child like him. Then Norman is taken by Isabella to a room. After that day, Ray becomes disheartened. He gives up on escaping and just quietly waits for his shipment day. Emma, whose leg is still injured, feels both heartbroken and helpless about the situation. Isabella comes to Emma and says she can recommend her to be mom for the farm. She tells Emma that people suffer because they resist, and it will only become easy once they accept despair. So she should strive to live and become mom. Faced with Isabella's heartfelt persuasion, Emma chooses to refuse, but she becomes as despondent as Ray after that day. Time flies, and it's the day before Ray's shipment. Late at night, Emma comes to Ray. They both see through each other and realize that they have been pretending and never gave up on escaping. Emma pretends to be disheartened for 2 months to lower Isabella's guard. She secretly lets the other children continue to train. Ray prepares a lot of gasoline, planning to set fire to the orphanage and distract Isabella. But Emma worries that Isabella would first protect the children since they are the most valuable goods. However, Ray has already thought of a solution to this problem. In Emma's surprised eyes, he pours the last bottle of gasoline on himself. He knows that Isabella will definitely save him no matter what, because he is the shipment for tomorrow. He tells Emma to take advantage of the time when Isabella is saving him to escape with the other children. The past 12 years have been very oppressive for Ray. Remembering things about demons since birth and pretending as if nothing is happening is too much. Especially after Norman's death, Ray has broken down. He chooses to use his life to give Emma a chance. He lights a match and throws it at himself. Emma catches the match at the last moment. She reveals Norman's plan that he left for her. Norman had guessed a long time ago that Ray planned to start a fire. He knew Ray wanted to sacrifice himself to let his 2 best friends escape. But as his best friend, Norman would never let anything happen to Ray. So Norman wrote an escape plan for Emma before leaving, and also gave Emma the pen left by Krone. Emma has prepared some hair, clothes, and other props. These can create the smell of Ray being burned. Then Emma cuts off Ray's ear with the tracking device. She lights up a match and throws it on the gasoline. At the same time, Isabella is humming a lullaby to put a baby to sleep. But when she returns to her office, she hears Emma's cry for help. She rushes to the dining room and sees a roaring fire. Emma cries out in pain, telling Isabella that Ray is inside, begging her to save him. But the real Ray is already on his way to the forest with the other children. A suspicious mother opens her pocket watch to check Ray's location. Ray's ear, with a tracking device, has been cut off by Emma and placed in the fire, so it shows that Ray is indeed there. Isabella then grabs a fire extinguisher and tries to put out the fire. But not only does the sprinkler system fail, the fire extinguisher is also empty. A frantic mother tells Emma to leave, only to turn around and find her gone. But when mother opens her pocket watch again, it shows that Emma hasn't moved. It turns out Emma cut off her own ear with the tracker and left it behind. By now, Emma has run deep into the forest where she meets up with her waiting friends and Ray, all planning to escape that night. On the run, Dawn tells Ray that Emma had talked with Norman long time ago, planning to tell the children in the orphanage who were older than 6 the truth about the place. Emma believed that once the kids knew what was really going on, they wouldn't slow them down. Instead, they'd become a force that would help them. In order to make the children believe the truth about the orphanage, Emma and Norman cooked up a clever plan. They arranged to talk to Krone one night, and Norman purposefully let her spill the beans about the truth of the orphanage. Meanwhile, a few other children were positioned at the door, listening in. This way, they learned the shocking truth about the place. Emma decided to leave behind the children who were under 4 years old at the orphanage. It weighed on her heart, but she knew that even if they escaped, those young kids might not survive in the unknown world outside. It was safer for them to stay in the orphanage for now since they wouldn't be shipped out until they were over 6 years old. They had 2 more years of safety. She sought out Phil, the smartest 4-year-old in the group, and confided in him about the true nature of the orphanage. Phil had already been suspicious about the strange goings-on in the place. Emma promised to come back and rescue them within 2 years, and brave little Phil agreed to stay behind and look after the other children, waiting for Emma's return. Norman had previously mentioned that all around the farms were cliffs. The only way to the outside world was through the bridge just outside their farm's gate. People at the headquarters probably thought the gate was the most likely place to escape from. So, Norman told Emma to do the opposite of what they'd expect escape from the cliff's edge. Norman had already checked out the distance across the cliff that day. He believed they could make it to the other side. Following the plan, each child practiced a specific skill. They learned how to tie a rock to a rope and throw it accurately to the other side. Their goal was to create a gliding escape route. The children have reached the top of the wall. The first child throws a rope towards the other side and then glides across. When a successful signal lights up, everyone starts cheering. Their plan is working perfectly. Quickly after, the second and third ropes are smoothly connected to the opposite side. When Isabella alerts the headquarters that some children are escaping, but learns there's no one on the bridge, she instantly has a gut feeling. She rushes to the edge of the cliff and sees Emma, who hasn't yet glided across. As Emma says her goodbyes to the past, Isabella wishes she wouldn't leave. Yet, Emma's choice is firm. She wants to escape. Despite the orphanage's failure, Isabella doesn't panic. Watching the disappearing children, her expression is one of relief. Her hair sways in the wind, reminding her of her younger self who once also stood at the cliff's edge, tempted to escape. Back then, she had a close friend who played guitar. The boy would play a nameless tune he composed for her, and Isabella would memorize every note. Life was carefree. But when it was the boy's turn to be adopted, Isabella had to say a tearful goodbye. One day she climbed up the wall, only to find a cliff and endless despair. Her mom offered her to be trained as a sister, and then a mom. She had no choice but to accept this fate and became an emotionless human being. She studied hard, grew up, and even became pregnant. Throughout these years, Isabella hummed the tune the boy had composed for her. Eventually, Isabella became a mom of the orphanage, raising children and overseeing their eventual shipments. One day, under a tree, Ray unconsciously hummed the very song the boy wrote for Isabella. She's shaken. The reason Ray knows it is he has prenatal memories. The shocking truth is that Ray is Isabella's biological son. The irony is sharp. She's raising her own son to become food for monsters. But now, watching the children escape, Isabella feels a sense of release. She hopes their path ahead is filled with light. Emma and the 14 other children, carrying Norman's hopes, successfully leave the orphanage. That's it for Season 1. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.